Hello, we are here to do the update for the full moon in Gemini. Now, this is going to be covering aspects of astrology, as well as I have prepared, because people do say they'd like to know how this directly affects what house with you personally. So I've broken it down to earth, air, fire, water, and I'll do each pocket as to what house for each zodiac sign will directly be affected. I'm sorry I took so long, but you know, there is a lot of energy shifting at the moment and it has increased. Do be very mindful to pay attention to my community tab, because if I do notice a frequency and I can't get to you live, I will try and put a message up in the community tab to give you guys an update. I'm fiercely behind the scenes organising. So for those of you who are new, I'm a psychic medium, as well as I do cover aspects of astrology. With this Gemini moon, it's going to be quite interesting. Some of you might have felt quite agitated the last few days. Hello, everyone. You might have felt quite agitated. Now, that's for a few reasons. We are moving into a cycle with this moon where it is the last moon of the decade and we're ending cycles. And a lot of the eclipses that are coming up are directly linked to World War I, World War II in the 1800s. So, you know, really ending out these cycles. And most of us do know, for those of you that don't, you tend to find with moon phases, they do roll over, similar to the energy of the eclipse season. So subject matters will be coming up. And I did warn you guys around July, some of those themes, you know, if you were in alignment and you were moving forward and you felt inclined to do something, especially with the nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn, it's been pretty horrendous energy where it's almost like you've been forcing yourself to take direct action. Yeah. I got physically attacked from a patient caregiver early in the week. Yeah, a very agitated energy, okay? Now, the Capricorn energy is linking in with sort of your employment, your finances, accountable energy. It is the devil card in the tarot, but it's also the devil in the detail, and it's really taking accountability. It can come across as quite detached energy, definitely with the Gemini frequency. It is an ending of a cycle, okay? So being a full moon, you can do a full moon ritual, and I would highly suggest that. Also, do be very mindful on that date, there is a triple conjunction. So there is going to be Saturn, Pluto, and Venus all in Capricorn. And obviously Jupiter is transferring and it's moving over there as well. So there's energies going on of a disclosure nature where Mercury and Gemini is governed by the same energy. So it is about communication. And I was sort of meditating on the signs, you know, in each pocket of zodiac signs, it's almost like one particular sign will have the best of both worlds. Gemini can be very direct, whereas the Libra energy will be umming-ahhing, you know, trying to find the best approach to do it. So it can be quite straight to the point. So do be really mindful of that when it is coming to your throat chakra. It's really important to speak your truth. But it can be a time frame due to trigger points and ending of cycles where things can be misinterpreted. So it's a great time as well for abundance. But it's also ending that cycle. It's a vibration number 12. And when you look at the vibration of 12, there's a lot of 12 aspecting during that moon. It is connected to completions, seeing both sides, which is Gemini. Motivation, diplomacy, partnerships, achievements. It's an opportunity to turn over a new leaf. Hi, guys. It's also very governed by materialism. So, you know, you did note, I've been saying this all year, a lot of us have been focused on, and I've said this, be it you're in a relationship or not, the Capricorn energy has really pushed us to be very accountable. So it hasn't felt super romantic where we could wear rose-colored glasses. But a lot of the work that you've directly been doing in your life has to be to balance those situations out and to see the flaws in the plans. Now, Neptune going direct, we're moving out of the delusional state. We're going into this dream state with no rose-colored glasses, so to speak. But the manifestation of things is knowing directly with the solar plexus sacral chakra, where the energy is, you can put your frequency into that. Now, it's completely natural to get to a point where you're in your third eye. And it feels like you're in a loop, okay? But that exhaustion, you're there for a reason, but rejection is universe's protection. So the detachment of what you guys are going through will be the need and the feeling to control. And when you look at it, it's really unique in a sense that chapters are ending all the time. It's just the fact that it's the fair connected to it. It's, what does that mean for us? What would the outcome of that mean? Do we have enough tools? Do we know how to handle our future moving forward? And it's almost like not making a decision is making a decision. But regardless of whether you do or don't, universe is going to keep you in alignment, because whatever you're guided to do, the detachment is a healing stage. Hey, Andrew. So, as I said, what you're going to find is with this triple conjunction, it's beneficial both at a planting of seed nature. And remember, with endings, there's new beginnings, very similar to the full. With the Capricorn energy, you guys are already going to be seeing the frequency, and it can feel quite scary. And I have recently purchased ruins. I've also purchased a new fortune telling deck, and I can use tarot, but I'm not a tarot reader. I'm a psychic medium, so I get images will pop out more so. The story and the energies, at times I'll feel two energies. And for a lot of you guys in romance at the moment, and it's interesting that it's in Capricorn, especially for those of you soulmates and twin flames and things to that degree, especially with your finances as well. What I have been noticing is there is a card that's really popping out where a person's energy directly of, sometimes you can get readings and they're talking about a new energy entering your life. And this has come up a lot, especially with my private consult reads. With it, what I'm finding is initially it was like quite confusing, and then I had a deja vu and it was like, no, this is the same person. So for some of you who are waiting on a situation to evolve, it is, but it will take you by surprise, because what you've got to understand is by releasing and letting go, you're allowing this new energy within yourself, within another person, within a situation to directly dissolve and resolve and transform. When I did pick the ruins, what I did see was reflection back to the past. Now, there were three that did come up, and one of them, a lot of what was coming through was understanding the past and releasing it. Now, one of them was joy, and it's connected to the element of fire. And the three ruins that come up was fire, moon, and again, fire. So it's the strength within the situation, and the sun. The energy of sun came up, but it was also feminine and masculine, and it's really balancing the yin and yang out within you. And this is what this cycle's doing. A lot of the process for the last 3 years has been a lot of internal work with the Pisces frequency. And again, with the number 12, it is directly connecting in with your crown chakra. So you need to keep your fluids up. You need to keep as grounded as possible. Now, the Schumann resonance this week reached 158, and that's super high. I myself experienced nausea. Some of you pay very close attention to your body, the way it actually changes, because you will feel the frequency shift, you'll feel the agitation, and it's really important at this point to start looking at your home. And I kept hearing, I was seeing a lot of butterflies, which is to do with transformation. I was also gaining this sense of detoxification required. And again, that is about turning over a new leaf, and it's really connected to the eclipses moving into January. And I have mentioned that having black tourmaline, black onyx, if you're wanting your crown chakra to be supported, you can use the amethyst. But again, don't overuse them. It's very important to cleanse them. This is a perfect time during the full moon to cleanse. And also, charge your water and get to a point where you can drink that water. You can have that detachment. You can do a ceremony for yourself, even if it's repeating to yourself that you are creating a new vibration and a new future, and that the past does not define the future of what you wish to co-create. Shifting your energy is completely, and it's hard. You know, when you're purging and you're triggered, it's really hard to take that because you're in that experience. But it is very essential for us to understand if we can't control what's going on around us, we can navigate and control ourselves, and to try and find that peace where you can actually attain that. If that means physically removing yourself from a home to go for a walk, you can do that. Because sometimes there are environmental factors. So you can use supporting crystals. You can look at the baby steps you can take so that you can move forward into 2020 and have that new foundation. And believe me, I've been there. I know how hard it is, especially when you're stuck in a household dynamic and you're thinking, how is this going to work? You're really wanting to transfer over. 2020 for many can denote changes of residence, changes of people moving in or out. The way in which you relate to family and tribe will change as well. And even just moving a bit of energy around your home, you know, decluttering things and throwing them out is directly shifting that energy for abundance to come back into your life. Now, with the ruins that were coming through, it was really cautioning us. How do I say it? Joy is the glue that holds tribe and clans together. 8 equals harmony, union, and eternal cycles of life. Warning pending. Keep faith, be grounded, and use your thought process, but also look at the situations that aren't meshing. What's not meshing is not meant to mesh. You can't force it. So allow that to take its natural cycle. If it's directly connected to you and you have power in the situation, do what you will, but be very self-aware. The moon energy as well with your it was saying body of lake, and it's 21, which the vibration of the moon cycle is 12, so it's still a similar frequency coming through. Fear of change and procrastination. Fear of commitment, failure, strong test to resolve with no quick solution. And it's almost like accepting, you know, what was before, but also allow universe to assist you, because some of it is directly out of your control. Make good choices. All will turn out a great journey of the soul. So what's happening is you've changed, and as soon as you shift your perspective and your perception, it directly resolves itself, and it's going to lead up to, and it will already be playing out at the moment. And I do find, for those of you who have been doing a lot of work on yourselves, you'll find you'll feel the energy of the moon phases before it's even hit. So you'll go through your purge cycle. You'll do deep reflection and inner work, and you'll find through that you'll have a lot of clarity and you'll feel more detached. And the more detached you are, the better, as to where your control is, what you would need to do. Obviously, alignment is always checking in with yourself each day. If something comes up, definitely. But just be mindful with the Mercury energy, with it being in Gemini. You know, a lot of the astrologers are talking about it being positive, but if you've got a pain body experience, your journey is very separate. You know, we can look at collective energy, but it still very much depends on what houses are activated and the direct situation you're dealing with and how your vibration is. Now, future tense is masculine frequency coming through. And even when I was doing my private read, a lot of what was coming through is the next 4 moon phases. For us to have this transformation energy. Now, it is to do with masculine frequency. Thank you, Dal. Symbolic of active masculine. And initially, the sun was deemed as feminine and the moon was deemed as masculine. So again, it's the yin and yang polarity. Now it's fire, it's Leo energy, and the best day is Sunday. This is directly connected to Sunday. And I looked at the date of the eclipse and I thought, well, give or take, depending on where you are in the world, and this was what I was picking up, it is very much the other side of the moon phase. So if you can make it through the moon phase and allow and do a ceremony potentially, even if it's just jotting something down on a piece of paper and discarding it. That can be, you know, obviously burning in a bowl somewhere safe. I'm not promoting fire, but I'm giving, you know, an ideal of what you could do within a safe domain. actually releasing that and, you know, picturing the best possible outcome, but not dictating to it what that outcome would look like, especially if you feel it's very much out of your control. But very much try to understand that there are two sides to each coin. There's two sides to each story. Some facts won't be physically visible, but it's also looking at how much you've achieved in this last decade, because it's ending a decade cycle with the moon phase. This is very much linking into curiosity, fertility, life force, desire, success, good fortune, popularity. Now, the caution is don't be over positive. And a lot of what was coming up with the astrology, especially linking over to January, you know, all the astrologers were talking about this need to just keep a little bit of money behind. Because especially with the aspects, you know, when you do look back in time as to when those aspects were made, it did come about around a recession. Now, it's not positive to hoard because that is lack mentality, but it's caution. So, you know, if you feel you need to keep a little bit for you, you know, keep that to the side to hold you over, a bit like ants. They work and they reap what they sow. They put the things away for themselves and they're prepared for the future. That's both at a spiritual level and a 3D level. So caution of overconfidence, you know, because there are going to be, you know, especially when you look at the Fool card, because we're ending a decade cycle with this moon. We're transferring over. We're having 3 eclipses. And each eclipse holds the vibration, depending on a new or a full moon. We will be both manifesting new and purging old, each of which will take 6 months to transpire. So with the next eclipse, it's something new. It's ending, but it's still ending a cycle, starting a new one. And then come January, similar situation again. New beginnings, ending. So it's moving over 6 months. That's why they're saying don't expect it to happen in 2.5. It's a process. There is a method to the madness. It's very similar to those of you, you know, waiting for a person to come in and thinking, oh, they're coming correct. Real life happens, and there could be finances, there could be home, there could be work, there could be children directly involved. So look at your own side of the fence of the processes you guys have been through, and understanding balance in all energies and situations take time, and magically solutions can happen, because I was even seeing the Magician card coming through with my reads. So it's a pause. Keep your cards close to your chest, because some situations are going to change, but you need to allow the energy to play out. Now, Venus is going to be at 20 degrees. Saturn is going to be at 19. Pluto is going to be at 21. So there's a lot of twos there. Now, with Venus, it is going to be moving through, and it won't remain in Capricorn long, but it can be the way you are looking at relationships can be very, very strict, especially with the Gemini frequency coming through. It's almost like within the romance, you know, speaking your truth, but also coming through quite... it can be aggressive, so just be mindful. But it's almost sticking up for yourself and being assertive. But it'll also be looking at the financial aspects, you know, what you're putting in, what another is, or more problem solving of okay, and not being codependent to the point you're thinking that the only solution is outside of yourself. Especially when that comes up, you know, it's a shift inside your perspective and perception. If there's something you can do, do it. If there's not, and it's out of your control, just keep allowing it to play out. But whatever and wherever you have power, balance your solar plexus and your sacral chakra. That's okay, doll. And the situation will move forward. So with it, it's not to say that there's not romance, but I have said this all year. Because everyone has been taking a great deal of accountability. So it's almost like we've had the training wheels this year with Saturn and Pluto, and Uranus will be going direct in January. So, you know, some of our dreams, some of our spirituality is going to change. The direction will change, but we've had a lot of process into the past. So it is semi-like a purge, but it doesn't have to be nasty. It can be a very reflective state of who you are now and self-forgiveness. That definitely has been coming up with my reads, and also an acceptance that we can't change the past, but we can change who we are today and what we intend to do moving forward. So try not to stay in the past at a theoretical level, or at a mental level of non-forgiving towards self. You know, practice self-love. Detach from the mindset that everything stays the same forever, because my favorite saying is nothing ever stays the same forever, and it would be ignorant for me to believe that. Nothing in my life has ever stayed the same. With the Uranus and Taurus, it has been kind of challenging for a lot of people collectively, and that's because Taurus it's Venus house. It's connected to your romance, but it's also liking things to be quite traditional and approachable, and knowing, you know, investing in it and knowing it's going to stay the same. But the reality is these cycles that are changing have been changing like us shedding our skin for years. It's just we're more in the self-awareness. So when a pain body experience comes up, it's like, that means I need to look at that. That means, can I evolve with that situation? And you're really gaining a lot with the Capricorn frequency. It's actually aiding a lot of us to look at things and take the bull by the horns and say, if we're wanting that to sail, we need, what can we physically do and how can we change that dynamic? Now, I'm going to get into the earth signs. So for those of you that are Capricorn, you guys are in the thick of it, because this is really a lot of changes for you guys. It's your first house, so it's all about yourself. And it's also directly with the Gemini moon. You know, it's the first and the sixth house. So the moon energy with the sixth house is connecting in with your work environment, your habit, your routine. So a lot of the conversational piece will be what with you and how you are and how you're changing. Does your job directly relate? You know, is the routine working for you? And very subliminally, it can be that you have children and you're needing to find a balance, because obviously with the nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn, regardless of the fact it's still playing out, and a lot of these balances in our life have needed to be adjusted to. So you physically may have changed. You may want a part-time job. You might want a full-time job. It could be something to the degree of finding a healthy balance for your life, but you're also changing. So, you know, with those changes, it's what you would need to shift, especially with that frequency of, you know, trying to balance your romance, but having to be creating healthy boundaries so you can balance your work-related dynamic out. Also wanting to finish those targets and have money to move forward, and being very strict with yourself about what those adjustments would be. Now, with your health, it can be also linking in with hidden enemies, but this can also be directly connected to you and a lot of reflection of the past, of potentially where you didn't see where you could physically move forward with certain things, and maybe the direct home environment or something to that degree was impacting it. Potentially, it could be within you, seeing a truth of what you're made of now and where you're moving forward. So all of a sudden it can be this, it's really like you're really changing. You're really evolving into this very new frequency. And it can be very frightening at times, especially with your first house, because all of a sudden everything about yourself you want to change. Allow the old to end first before you jump into anything major right now. Again, go through that frequency. And it does feel like a spiritual walk-in. So you can feel all of a sudden that things are getting very shaky, very different. Feels like an out-of-body experience. But everything around you is changing. Your needs within work, what you're wanting to get out of the situation, how much you're willing to put in. Now, it's you versus work. So is this impacting your health? Do you need to create a balance there? And again, with this energy coming through with the 12, it's turning over a new leaf. Tough stuff for us. Yeah. Look, you're in alignment and it's great. It is very positive. And this energy coming up, you guys are changing so greatly, but you're also helping shift the collective, because the nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn, even moving into 2020, you guys will be on your A game, okay? And it is hard work spiritually. So if your sun, moon, rising, or that direct sign, or wherever that's play, you're going to really be feeling that frequency. It's very tiring. So you can use crystals But just look at it and find forgiveness with it. You know, you can't change what the past is, but you can actually move forward to change it for tomorrow. And what would you need to do to shift that? And I'm going to pull one card per zodiac sign. So this is for the earth signs. I've just covered Capricorn. And just remind me to actually mention when they end. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because this is also about getting grounded. I'll let you see the card. As I said, the lighting in here, I've got to get a backlight that's better. Flowers, be generous. Success and emotional fulfillment are yours. And it's almost like smelling the successes. It's there to be yours. The transformation, you know, honey to a bee. You have the power to change this, but it's also about getting grounded and actually anchoring energy in. The flowers also can be a funeral to the old and a new beginning. Okay? And again, with the pink coming through, be your own best friend. What you need to end if you have that within your power. And it can also be just writing down what you need to let go of, what didn't work in the past versus what you want for the future, and really allowing that to transform in your own frequency. Okay, Taurus. Yours is the 9th house and the 2nd house. Now, the 9th house is connected to, well, your spirituality, religion, education, foreign countries, and travel. Now, the 2nd house is, again, to do with your assets, your possessions, but all the 3D, you know, the external things, value, very much outside of yourself. And it's so interesting that this has come up for you guys. And I feel you guys have done a 360. And this 360 is very much, hi, Carmen, I was just thinking about you. It's like, what you believed before versus what you believe now. You're like, I'm not a bank. How do I put it? I've got to put this eloquently. You've done a 360 in a sense of you're not selling your soul to the devil. It's like, my assets don't define who I am. I'm more important than that. I'm not selling my soul to this if it's killing me. Do you know what I mean? So you're seeing your own spiritual value, and it is really making you do a 360. It can be some really good luck coming through as well, but it's slow and steady wins the race. You know, if you felt that you've lost a lot, what you're going to gain is so much more. But you're being shifted onto your correct path. So this decade that we're ending, love and light it and send it, okay? But the card you've got is patience, but it's also the hourglass. Every cycle has its hour. Patience, slow down, change your attitude, and clear your mind. Again, crown chakra. So, you know, really have some time to meditate. Really have some time to see what that feels like, what the past feels like, what comes up for you around the 12th. And it can be even now moving into the moon phase and a week after. You'll still have that frequency. It will lighten up, but it can feel quite heavy during that time, especially if you're really affected by the moon and you're spiritual. Yeah, no drama, dog. So you're on the right path. Everything, your load will feel lighter. It can be a purge that comes up, but it feels healthy. Okay, you might not see it just yet, but the things that are being removed, and it's very similar to all of a sudden if we have pets passed over, and especially with Saturn and Pluto, that's very common, you know, especially when you have the eclipses and it increases it. A soul that has served its journey here, it has come into your life for a direct reason, but it's also left your life for a direct reason to lighten your load because you're moving. So these things all do happen for a reason. In an energetic sense, it doesn't feel nice at the time, but everything directly does happen, and that can even be removing of situations. It can be furniture, assets, homes, people, places, things. They all happen for a reason, and it's more the meditation of that in the back. Yeah, so it's everything is aligned for a reason. Even animals coming into your life come for a reason. Now, for Virgo, I'll check the time, 29. Okay, Virgo, yours is your 5th. Capricorn is your 5th house. Gemini is your 10th. So 10th is to do with your career, reputation, fame, or lack of, or other parents. So conversations for you guys might be coming up in relation to this. And there can be some scenarios playing out that, you know, you're meditating upon it. And remember that the Gemini energy is Mercury, which is communication. So there can be some conversations coming up in relation to your career, maybe what your hopes and dreams are, maybe your disappointments of the past and where you want to rectify that and how you would go about doing that. Again, slow and steady wins the race, but it's releasing the past that it doesn't define your future. There could also be some small wins that come your way. It is a very positive time for abundance at the moment, and I feel it's ironic because it's almost like abundance is coming in, but don't overspend. Don't go overboard. You know, really allow the new year to rein in before you go haywire. And that's for anyone collectively. Now, your 5th house is your romance, birth, children, and luck. So again, conversations directly linking in with the nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn, home and family. God love it. It's been a theme the whole year. Home and family. So how do you balance it out? What didn't work in the past? What's going to work in the future? Who are you today? Not who you were yesterday. Who are you today? And what would need to physically change? Turning over that new leaf, looking at it with fresh eyes, moving forward into 2020. And really this week. So I'll pull a card for you guys. Okay, it's chosen for you. Gold. Progress is positive and personal goals will be achieved. So I feel it's trying to find the solution in that. So that, and your abundance is your emotional abundance. You know, if you feel emotionally abundant, it directly comes towards you. But it's almost looking at a new way it can be achieved. You know, thinking outside the box. Who are you today? What is the tribe and what's going on with the tribe you're directly linking in with? And how can you balance the emotions versus the maturity into that situation to get the best possible outcome? 32, 31. Okay, who do we have next? Moving on to fire signs. Who do we have as a fire sign in the house? Okay, so covering Aries. Aries. Gemini will be falling in your 3rd house, which again is Mercury and communication, self-expression, short journeys. Interesting it's landed here. Now the 10th house for you with Venus, Saturn and Pluto is your 10th house, your career, reputation, fame or lack of, or other parent. Now, this can be conversations where you're looking at things and you're having to really end a cycle. You're having to end a way of doing something. How you dealt with it before is very unique to how you're going to deal with it now moving forward. I'm going to pull a card. It's almost like gobsmacked. That's what it feels like when I tune into the energy. It's almost like, how do I say this? That's what it feels like. It's really ironic. How do I say this? And that's what I was feeling. It's funny that this has come up because even it came through with the ruins and I was seeing the Phoenix rising because of the fire energy. It's like burning out the old, moving into the new. You got the Phoenix, okay? Now, this can even be like having to leave a situation, having to skedaddle away into the night, but almost I feel you're articulating it. But you're being very careful about how you speak. It's very interesting. What's going on, Aries? Okay, let me tune into this a bit further. I feel potentially there's an energy where you may have several offers. Now, this can be between now and next year. It also may be you're looking at it, and because of the accountable energy coming up with the Capricorn frequency, you're looking at it and you're thinking, I need to be in a different way of being. Oh, it's really interesting. It's almost like you're looking at your shadow self. Be prepared to be renewed after a potential crisis, okay? Now, this is like, again, the full moon is about releasing the past. So whatever's coming up between then and now, and it can already have happened, but it's the spiritual vibration of what has been in you and what you need to let go of now to liberate yourself to move into a better frequency with this new cycle. okay? It can also be like physically, and a lot of you guys will be feeling more energized. Now, the energy coming through is to give you that last burst of energy with the Sagittarius and Jupiter. You know, it's that last burst of energy pushing through because it's transferring and transforming into very accountable energy. And I keep hearing the song, if you want it, put your back into it. It's going to be hard work. And even if you listen to the Leo King and other readers, it's burning that midnight oil, but it's also very important not to have burnout, okay? You've got to gauge your body. It's all good and well. I mean, the one lesson that this year has taught us is where has the imbalance been? And I did hear a lot of people saying it's impossible to create balance, but what your balance is and what another person's balance is unique. I mean, you may love to live on the edge, and that can be your balance. You may like a hectic lifestyle, and that potentially could be your balance. So it's very unique to your own individual need of what you would deem as balance for you personally. Having healthy routines and a sense of knowing what works for your schedule is important. But I do feel this, I feel a positive energy, but it's almost like it's going to be like that. I really feel you guys, and I don't feel aggression. I just feel very decisive energy, and it's odd because it is falling in your communication house, but effective communication. I feel sort of cold, I'll be honest. It feels sort of, look, I've made my decision, it's very relaxed, and I feel you've really meditated on this. So whatever's coming up for this new beginning, it does feel a complete directional shift. Hi, guys. So in your career sector, the way you're looking at yourself, how you want things, you need to actually get grounded. I'd say that there can be a lot of hate around you at the moment, a lot of expectations, but it's also working incredibly hard to break that glass ceiling. And I really do feel moving from here on in, this is a complete potential for you guys. But also integrate your spirituality and let the old go so the new can come in. Any questions? No questions. No questions. Leo. This is your 11th house for Gemini. It's your friends, clubs, associates, and aspirations. And your 6th house is the Capricorn energy, which is Venus, Pluto, and Saturn in the conjunction. And this is your work environment, habits, routines, and health. Let me tune into this. I feel you're going to have to be quite strict. I feel, you know, and I'm hearing two things. All work, no play. A lot of reflection of that. But also changing your pocket of social circle, you know. How do I put it? You're wanting to change so many things, okay? All of a sudden it feels like you may be literally bringing in new friends, new ways of doing things. You've got all of a sudden, and again, the Gemini moon is about out with the old and with the new, okay? Hey. Out with the old and with the new. Now, I think you guys might have been like, again, I'm hearing the glass ceiling. It's like, but you were looking tunnel vision, all right? I'm seeing you guys looking tunnel vision and like limiting yourselves. And all of a sudden you've had this aha moment. And it's like, no. Listen, Linda, no. You guys are changing so much. Some friendship groups are coming in from the past. Others are going. Your style of relating to people is physically changing. You also want to check in with your health. So some of you might be turning over a new leaf with your health and your diet. And again, with the Capricorn energy, this is a very positive place for it to be. But don't, you know, you're going to be really harsh with yourself. You could potentially be looking at your wardrobe, wanting to throw things out, wanting to change things, wanting to change your look altogether. Especially with the 6th house being activated with Venus, Capricorn, and Pluto. It's like, what do I keep? What do I chuck? How is my work working for me? Is the environment nice? This can even be your home environment where you're decluttering and clearing things out and looking at your routine and really picking you know, what you're going to do to shift that. And I'm feeling it's like you don't want less. You're like, I'm having it all. I'm going to have it all. Dragonfly. The card came out. I had it down, so I didn't look at it. Change in direction. And this is what I've picked up with this side. It's like, Leo, you guys are changing direction. Have confidence during this time of great joy, renewal and connection to spirit. You're coming to your raw, organic way of being. And it's like, it's funny that it ends in your 11th house, your friends, your clubs, your associates and aspirations. The connection is there a connection here? Have I been shortchanging myself? The way I look at myself, the way I look at other people. Am I scared of new directions? Is this bringing me to my higher path? You know, looking at the past and letting it go and then going, well, and that can still be a similar person can come back. But, you know, the transformation, it's not wrong for you to change direction. Don't freak out if you have to change direction. It's all divinely guided, okay? So if you change, then that's okay too. But it's accepting that, you know, changing directions is part of the equation. Letting something go. All of a sudden, I feel you guys are going to have a light bulb moment, and suddenly the things of what you wanted are going to be very different to what you had before. Sagittarius. Okay, this is your 7th house for the Gemini moon. This is marriages, contracts, and partnerships. And the 2nd house, possession, land, all the 3D things, right? That of what you feel you're worth. It can be, again, on an ending basis. Forgiveness of the past, right? Sag. If I didn't mention it, we're doing Sagittarius now. Okay, Sagittarius. Really interesting energy coming through. Now, with your 7th house, something that was going on in your partnership, your connections, any contracts, any binding thing, you've got to let the past go, right? But what this is, there could be a subject matter that comes up. It's the Mercury house. So it's your communication. It's looking at something. It's, okay, what was the past versus where do you want to take this ship moving forward? And this can be with anything, your employment, your connections. It could have been some of you are, you know, doing documentation, because Mercury, again, is about documentation, paperwork. Binding those contracts, tying them up, and then working and moving forward. And it can be an assessment that comes up, but it's direct communication. Let go of emotional upheaval and embrace the renewal of the present. You got to let it go. Now, with the 2nd house, you guys might have been looking at the 3D world and trying to balance, again, with the nodes being in Cancer and Capricorn, a lot of Capricorn energy going on. So the shadow aspect is Cancer for you. That energy of family and work, and again, falling in your partnership zone, regardless of what you've been through, look how far you've come. Rest, recoup, reignite the fire in your life of what you're wanting to move forward to. Even if you feel at a possession level, at a financial level, some things didn't quite go according to plan, you're going. Giggle said this to me: you can take my money, don't take my time. Okay, yes, it's frustrating, but it's interesting that possessions and personal resource and material value is being looked upon at the moment with you guys. You can't change the past, you can keep moving forward. So put all that energy now directly into what you want to achieve, both now moving forward in 2020. Get anchored in, follow that passion in your life, and I feel it's really going to benefit you. But don't let your emotions, you know, ruin you, because change is inevitable. It doesn't have to affect you the way you may be potentially thinking. This can also be a binding of a contract for you guys. And again, it's interesting. Some of you, if you've wanted to take this connection to the next level, yes, it's saying you will. But it's also to do with business opportunities and new things coming in. So if you feel that you're wanting to change things for the betterment of the relationship, you know, it could be your hours, etc., have a look at that and see what you'd need to do to bring that balance in. Next zodiac sign. Gemini. I should have done Gemini first. I mean, because this is the Gemini moon. First house again. Okay, so it's like throwing the baby out with the bath water. You guys, you're gonna be. People might get a bit confused by you guys this week. It's not a bad thing. Being your first house, whoever you were in the past, you're not that person anymore. Do just be really, really mindful that all of a sudden you're changing and people are trying to keep up with you. You could be witnessing people and be in your own very vibration. And again, it's ending a decade. So for you guys, this is very much like a brand new beginning for you, but it can feel very frightening. It can almost feel like, oh gosh, all of a sudden, you know, what am I walking into? Very similar to a spiritual walk-in, a bit like shock, you know, and you've had suddenly this aha epiphany moment, and it can feel a bit nerve-wracking, and then again you're transforming. With the 8th house, this is life, death, money, legacies, will, and the ability to rebuild. Interesting because it's in Pluto. I mean, you guys could be literally, your crown chakra, I feel energetically, is going to be on fire. Just get some crystals, okay? Get some psychic protection crystals moving into that moon. Use an amethyst also, but also if you're getting too many downloads, be really careful, guys, because it can be really overwhelming. When your crown chakra is open and collective is purging, you're picking up on that energy. It's very psychic energy. The realm will be thin. Breathe and know this too this will pass, okay? It's not a permanency. But again, if you have had any endings that you needed to meditate upon, and this can be people that have passed away, the realm is very thin and they can be communicating with you at the moment. This was the card that kept coming through. Also, this can be used shifting into complete alignment. And it's unique that this card come up because it's been coming up in my twin flame reads. And yes, I do have to do an update for twin flames. Lovers, there are 2 paths ahead. Be true to yourself. Now, the energy that I was getting coming through with this when I was tuning into a client the other day, it was like there's 2 roads ahead. And I was feeling, I'm not feeling 2 roads. And I was like, is there another? No, there's not another energy. It's the same person having been evolved. Now, it's your first house. Who you were before is not who you're going to be. So you've naturally, you know, changed. And if you potentially are waiting for someone, and you think potentially it's gone, yes, the old is gone. Allow the new to come in, okay? Because this energy can be the same person, but if you can see how you've changed, you need to understand each person constantly changes, right? If you vibrationally feel that's not so, assess it when it happens. But this energy is about transformation, and it's about the cycles of life. It's about letting go, not being too scared, not preventing yourself from moving forward, because that's stagnancy, and you can't. We're ending a decade cycle. It's 12, which is, you know, turning over a new leaf this month. So I'm finding it to be very positive, but there can be some energies where you're having to deal with paperwork, you know, your finances, and really looking at that and looking at what you can physically do to change that versus just, you know, the codependent energy. It's like really having to have that on your plate, and you've been dealing with it for a while, and suddenly you have an epiphany. I've been doing this all along. Why have I been worried about it? And then suddenly luck comes in because it's alignment. It's like, oh, you know, like desperately seeking Susan, and suddenly you realize you've been on your A game the whole time and been doing everything, and then, you know, you're no longer afraid. You're just dealing with all of these tasks, and you realize that your life is part of your cycle. Old cycles go, new cycles come in, but it's also where would you have power to change those things? And it's a very positive thing, but it does feel as though it manifests in this energy, right? Now, Libra, this for you guys. I'll write down the time because I'll get in trouble when I don't. 49 minutes for Gemini. Rough guide. Libra, 9th house for the Gemini moon. This is your religion, your education, foreign countries, and travel. Okay? Looking at the past and seeing where you've been versus where you want to go. That can be really changing right now. With the Capricorn energy, this is your 4th house. Looking at the reality of that situation, you know, what's the psychological foundation? Are there any domestic related dynamics? And again, Capricorn energy, man up, woman up energy, taking the bull by the horns, dealing with those things. Endings, parents, and home. And again, the Capricorn energy is linking with work. So potentially having to be very, very on your A game when it comes to family-related dynamics, changing and shifting energy around at home. Having too much on your plate potentially, you know, chasing your tail, getting things done. With the 9th house, what you believed, what you've learnt so far, you know, your movement, foreign countries, travel, what that was in the past. What do you know now? What are you taking with you? Okay, out with the old, in with the new. But also what you've learnt and what this year has taught you and what this last decade's taught you when it physically comes to you with your power, you with your abilities to transform situations in your home environment. What's your energy? What's another person's energy? Breaking down of those situations and how you can directly allow situations to resolve, how the natural ebbs and flows of those situations can, but speaking your truth when it does come to, you know, people potentially not seeing the situation. And, you know, caution with that energy. I'll pull a card as well. Because when it does come to the energy of Venus, because the 4th house for everyone here, when I've mentioned the Capricorn energy, it is your romantic house, your financial house. Capricorn also is connecting in with that. It's also Saturn, the adult up. I'm telling you what needs to change. Pluto, what needs to come to an end. What needs to shift here, because this ain't working. We've got to let the past go. So those subjects can be coming up. But with Mercury being the communication house linking in with that, it's like, okay, well, how can we effectively communicate this to change the vibration of home, work, money, relationships? You know, what's your part? And this, you can't make this shit up. Okay, you got the Fool card, right? Infinite ways this can go, but the 0 degree is out with the old, in with the new, and it's like you're moving forward. Have the courage to embrace change. Take risks, be adventurous, follow your gut. Okay, when I say take risks, it's like everything has a risk. That's the message coming through. It's not, hey, take risks. It's everything does have a risk. Be rational, look at the situation. Understand that this is a new journey. This is the adventure moving forward. It's going to be different than what it's been before. There is infinite ways this can go, but you know, instead of meditating upon, okay, that land bump and that wall and that mountain will be waiting. If you've already been aware of that and you've been working with the psychological related dynamics and the foundational related dynamic, you're going to be fine. Okay, deal with the problems as they come up. Now, Aquarius. Yes, I do believe I have read for Capricorn. I will give you a heads up where it is when you want to refer back to it. I didn't write. It's the beginning of the video. I believe it's at 25 minutes in. Yes. Okay, so where were we? Aquarius. Okay, this is your 5th house, right? The Gemini moon of what you're looking at to let go of in the past. What subject matters can come up is your romance, your birth, children, and luck. This can be also childhood wounds. This can be the way you look at love and what you want to bring into creation. And the crazy thing is, the Capricorn energy is your 12th house. This is your subconscious mind. This is also responsibilities, hidden resources, secrets, and hidden enemies. Now, the 12th house for you guys, this moon's really going to affect you, okay? Because not only do you have your crown chakra activated, which is, you know, 12th house, it's also on the 12th, it's also moon energy, Aquarius, and the Capricorn frequency, right? So that's a whole lot of downloads. Pay attention to your intuition. You got the moon card. when it comes to your romance, what you want to create, children, luck, you know, what are you seeing? Is the ego being blocked by the crown? And if it is, get some amethyst, drink fluid. Try and, if you're going through the third eye, you know, you feel like you're looping, you feel like you're going in cycles, and it can be overwhelming where you're getting too many downloads and it's causing panic attacks. So be mindful of that. This moon can affect you. If you stay grounded, if you can clear your third eye before we reach that moon and understand it's temporary, understand psychically the feelings, the vibrations, your instincts, not to get panicked that you do have control, right? Because the control is, what are you sensing? What do you want? Building that relationship up with your higher self and your internal of knowing you do have power to change these situations moving forward. But it's a very psychic energy. The realm for you guys will be very thin. Also, pay attention to your intuition at this time and move ahead confidently. It's like move through the energy, but trust in your instincts of what you're sensing, okay? I'll write the time down. Don't want to get in trouble. 56 will do those. Now, water signs, Cancer. It's so funny. You have no idea how many Cancerians I know, and my moon is Cancer as well. This is your 12th house, right? Can't make that up. And your 7th house activation. Where is the chart? I'm going to double check. Okay. 7th house is Capricorn. And the 12th house is Gemini. Okay, so this moon energy, okay, wow. You guys intuitively will know what needs to come to an end. And I feel this has been on your mind for a few weeks. I feel this has been leading up. It's like, it's a bit like an egoic purge. It's like you no longer, you see the light, you're like, even if I wanted to delude myself, I'm seeing the signs. I'm seeing the signs. I know what I need to do. The 7th house is also linking in with being accountable when it comes to marriage, contracts, and partnerships. This also can be a very deep spiritual connection. Being the 12th house, it's a very in tune connection, and it's trusting intuition. Also looking at, you know, whatever was in the past is not so in the future. You can rewrite that now. But also with the Gemini energy of what you thought in the past versus, you know, maybe not even seeing some of these hurdles. You know, and again, the 12th house could be that you knew a Gemini. I'm just saying. And it's interesting because this is a Gemini frequency. This is also the 12th house. It could also be someone that passed over. That's for some of you. But the angel card is here, which, again, your crown chakra is you connecting in with your soul, okay? Feeling and understanding everything you're sensing, which is the 6th sense. It's also your guides, depending on what your belief systems are, Gaia, source, your angels, and passed over loved ones, okay? Now, your angels are guiding and protecting you on your spiritual journey, okay? So to this point, they have been behind you. You're sensing them more so. Now, a subject matter connected to that can be coming up for you guys. And really feeling this interconnection that you feel that they are with you. They're also very proud. It can also be a purge linking in with that, but an acceptance of what the past is and wanting to change your life moving forward. I'm going to pull one more card because it feels very emotional. Yeah. So both these are directly about seeing, okay? Any Cancers in the house? Eagle. You will soar towards your destiny with great clarity and strength. It's you literally looking at the situation of what you want, having the strength to, rising above a situation, using your 12th house, your intuition, your subconscious mind, what you need to let go of, moving away and out of choppy waters. I feel good luck around you guys. Scorpio, this is your 8th house for the Gemini moon. Life, death, money, legacy, and the ability to rebuild. This can also be inheritance and your will. Now, again, ending a decade cycle. Again, it can be with the Gemini. Could be. Could also be a person that passed over. That was that Zodiac sign. It's allowing that to go and a new beginning to come. Okay? Now, with the energy of Capricorn, it's your 3rd house. So looking at your home environment, again, you know, what you've learned, what you're changing, your communication in your 3rd house. It's about communication, self-expression, and short journeys. Now, with the 8th house, this could even be conversations of the past. It could even be a subject matter that is brought up, or a feeling of serendipity, like this person's energies there. It's also turning over a new leaf when it comes to your finances. You know, don't allow the past to define what is moving into the future. You might be making a major plan to transfer your life between now and 2020, and you've got the luck card, and it's looking very positive. Okay, yeah, we have, Dove. I'll tell you at what time it was done in a tick. So with this luck, you are right to be optimistic the opportunities ahead. Now, it's a 4-leaf clover, and again, it is to do with heart chakra. It's you being in alignment. Allow the past to go, move into the future. And again, I am seeing loved ones on the other side actually guiding you. This also could be finances coming in and, you know, contracts finalizing. Being that it's Mercury, all of a sudden you guys might start seeing with this Gemini moon that all of a sudden paperwork's getting finalized. It's like moving quicker than what you thought it would. And, you know, contracts are changing, payouts are coming, examples merely, okay? So if you have been waiting on certificates, paperwork, finances to be cleared in the bank, etc., wills to be paid out, these subject matters are coming up for you. Also, it does feel positive, but whatever is moving forward for you, your guides and your loved ones on the other side are helping you move forward. Pisces, last zodiac sign, then I can answer some questions. Okay, Pisces, this is your 4th house with Gemini. And again, it's your psychological foundation, domestic issues, endings, parents, and home. So something on the home front is changing altogether. All right, it's changing. And the 11th house of the people you're mixing with. Again, being quite cautious as to the groups you're entertaining. Maybe learning something from the past and applying it to the new. And again, the things that you're wanting to do, the clubs, you know, your aspirations, they've all changed. So all of a sudden with this 4th house, the work you've been doing to get yourself back on track, it might have been that it's really taken you a while and it's affected you, but you're wanting to get back to the quality. And I do feel, it's funny, you've got celebration. So some of you all of a sudden might be having a housewarming party. Some situation may be resolving where you can change that frequency. There can be also signing the contract, signing the lease. I'm also seeing some positive energies around Christmas. This can also be for family members. And a balancing out of that with something moving into the past, okay? So whatever is meant to be, you are ready to bring new and exciting things into your life. I might pull one more card. You guys might have had a lot on your plate this year, okay? And again, ending a decade cycle, it can be with someone you've been dealing with for a decade. It can also be a direct subject matter. I feel you guys have been tied up very busily, so, okay? Now, this can also be through family, siblings, parents, There could also be an announcement of somebody getting married, like an ending of one cycle and beginning of new. And I feel this is directly linked to you guys. Your vibration is shifting, providing you can let go of the past. I'm really feeling as though there's this energy of reconnection, okay, of anything that you're wanting to be able to be manifested in, but you've got to let the past go. Also with that, it can be with these endings where some of you were actually waiting on documentation. Remember, it's the house of Mercury. So if you had finalized a connection and you're doing a purge connected to that because you're going through a divorce, it's also linking in with every ending has a new beginning. So it's actually taking the time to emotionally feel that and allowing that to transform for those of you who it directly relates. But it is changing. But I feel this new energy coming in is the newer version of you. So it's boding quite well. I will pull a chakra card for the overall moon energy. Keep grounded through this moon. Okay. It can feel a bit trigger hungry. Yeah, a lot of temptation there. Makes sense. It's funny because the only throat chakra card, which is Mercury related, is in reverse. Okay. In the past, where potentially we were led astray, but also following your temptations, your heart desires, you know, owning your power. This is sacral chakra. So your creativity, your passion, your desires, guilt and fear, they can be a trigger point to the purge of the Gemini moon. And again, I'm feeling the Capricorn energy as well because, you know, the temptation card and the devil energy card is linking in with Capricorn, which is very much a similar chakra. So, you know, with having to be very strict with situations, looking at it differently, sensing and seeing, third eye, seeing the truth of situations, knowing and having the clarity, moving through the frequency, and maybe not talking. Talk if you need to, but, you know, as long as that vibration is your complete truth, it's almost like I'm hearing actions speaking louder than words, leading by example. Waiting for the correct time to have that communication, thinking before we speak, because some potential things can come up. And it's not that it's wrong, and don't freak out if suddenly, you know, you start saying something to a partner or a work colleague and you're like, oh my God, why did I say that? Everything does happen for a reason. So, you know, you can't micromanage yourself. If you need to speak your truth, you do your best to act accordingly in an upright manner, so to speak, and if it happens in a different way, it is what it is. Any questions? So, Taurus, you wanted me to tell you when Taurus was? Oh, but I didn't even write the last one down. I'll have to go back and look at that. Where did I put it? Did I flick it off the page? I must do. $29 minutes for Taurus. Any questions while I'm here? Otherwise, I'm going to love you and leave you. Go have lunch. I have clients to catch up on. That's okay. Take care, friend coach. Any questions in relation to the moon energy? No questions. So quiet in the house. Thank you for joining the video. Thank you for commenting, guys. I appreciate it because it helps circulate it. I will go back and timestamp it, obviously. Otherwise, if anyone else has wanted to do that, that's fine. I've got a rough guide as to the time. So I think the end part is the only bit I didn't do. But if you do want a booking for this moon phase, feel free. It's going to amp up in the next phase, obviously, because we're going into eclipse energy. So it's a small pocket where we're going out with the old, in with the new, but it can be like a back forward energy. That's okay, love. Thanks. So, yeah, it might feel strange. Let's just put it that way. Especially the multitasking we've done this year. It's a bit like, oh, God. I hope this has helped you. If you do need an emergency booking, I'm trying to change the thumbnails on the website so when you open it, you understand, you know, what one is what price, and I'm going to put it in the thumbnail. But, yes, I do emergency readings if I'm available. Okay, so you can only but ask. And I will get on to the rest of the videos. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.